Their parents put them into sports, activities, clubs, often at the expense of spending time with them. Also, their children could be perfectly socialized. Millennials saw more psychologists, therapists, counselors than any other generation before them. Hello everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode of Live from the Lair. And due to technical difficulties, we're actually filming this one at the studio. And today we're going to be going over this book. I normally don't do book reviews, but this was actually a special request from another MGTOW creator. And this book is written by Vince Barrick, and it's called How Not to Become a Millennial. All right, now this took me a while to go through. I'm a slow reader because I have dyslexia, and now that I went through it, I'm actually glad I did. Because this book is an over-the-top, tragic beatdown of the mistake known as the millennial. Okay, there were times when I was reading this book that I was so embarrassed by the millennials, I was actually sweating. So my recommendation to everyone out there is this is absolutely valuable to have on your bookshelf. And I'm going to go through a couple of the sayings I dog-eared in this thing, and I'm going to go over some of the sources that he put in here, which I checked several of them, and they're pretty powerful. So let's start off here. They're fatherless, purposeless, rudderless, lonely, unhappy, indebted, talentless, meaningless, leaderless, unaccomplished, and have no agency or purpose in this world. They are a failing generation who are simply unable to support themselves, resulting in crippling levels of debt and an unsustainable society that will collapse, not a utopia. Boom! Oh, that was f***ing wicked. Now, we all know what happens when you raise a generation without fathers. Or two or three. Links in the description. And when you talk about leadership, the best example you have is AOC. I rest my case. So, look, Space Ghost is on.
With everyone stuck in their homes and Pornhub streaming to every television in the house. No? Just me? It's never been a more important time to protect your data, and the best way to do that is with the Brave browser. It's free, blocks online advertising, and protects your data from the evil prigs in Silicon Valley. You only see ads if you want to, and you're rewarded with cryptocurrency for your attention. Winning! Support Sandman and download Brave by clicking on the link in the description.
All right. The millennials had more years and money invested in their educations than any other generation before them. Their parents put them into sports, activities, clubs, often at the expense of spending time with them. Also, their children could be perfectly socialized. Millennials saw more psychologists, therapists, counselors than any other generation before them. This is what happens when women say, hey, marriage is patriarchy, and their children wind up becoming collateral damage. You put them in all of these activities, and they're going to have a smorgasbord of role models, but they're not going to have any rudders to steer from. When you take away fathers, those children will instinctively look for the father figure. And more often than not, they will find it in the wrong places. Chapter 17 might just be the most important thing in this book. Basically, the title is, Your Career is Not the Most Important Thing in Life. Holy shit! We've been saying that here on Ridiculous for years. So these millennials have been sold a crop of bunk that their career is the most important thing in their life, bar none, and they will financially destroy themselves on the rack of stupidity to do it. So now we have a whole generation, the millennials, 2/3 of which are women who have racked up a debt totaling $1.5 trillion for an education that they will never use and is worthless. And they are told to put all of their biological imperatives on hold so they could pursue this career. Listen, we've all heard it. These women have the same message kicked into their asses. Sleep around, focus on your career, be yourself, follow your dreams. When you're ready, there will be a man there and there'll be time for a family. And we all know that's complete bullshit. So a lot of these women spend their primary fertility years sleeping around and living their dreaming and do whatever the fuck they want. And why? Because that is what men do. Well, I'll tell you what. Why the fuck would a heterosexual straight man want anything to do with a woman who acts like a man? You kind of should be gay if you do that. I don't know, maybe it's just my perspective. Now this is the last one I'm going to talk about here in regards to this book. And this chapter is 25. Big is not beautiful. Holy shit, is this correct? Women are designed to be a certain way. And we men, we're designed to like them that certain way. And if they are built like a box or a plum, not so much. No amount of blame or shame is going to override these biological imperatives, is going to reverse cardiovascular disease and osteoporosis, or the infertility of being such a fat, slothering womalo. Holy shit, are they screwed, and not in a good way. We did a whole episode on one of these womalos pushing the so-called idea that big is beautiful. Sorry, it's not. Big women don't want anything to do with bigger men. They call that a preference. But when a man says the exact same things, they're misogynistic pigs, right? Wah. So let me break this down for you. If you look down, ladies, and you can't see your feet, or men, you can't see your penis, well, being overweight is the only problem that is actually okay to run away from. And guess what? If you run away long enough and hard enough, that problem of being gravitationally challenged will actually go away. Unless you've ignored that problem for so long that you running down the block gives you a heart attack, well, I guess I take it back. It solves that too. No matter which way you look at it, gentlemen, that problem is over. But unfortunately, the problem with the millennial generation, I fear, is just getting started. We're going to have another half a century of ass pain to unfuck this whole thing. And it's not going to be pretty. AOC and the other bitches in the squad, I fear they're just the beginning. All right, here's the book. And yes, they are sponsoring the channel. But gentlemen, I'm not a good liar. And if I didn't like this book, I wouldn't have f***ing done it. So I'm going to put a link in the description where you can pick up this book in paperback or in digital formats and read it for yourselves. I highly recommend it. And if you're a millennial and you got pissed off at this, just wait until you look at the sources in the middle of this book. Because guess what? If the truth hurts, your ass is getting nailed to a cross. Winning!